So I'm absolutely delighted today for the Heritage Zone launch here in Leicester to catch up with one of the key partners in the Newsroom, and obviously for the event going forward. And that's Louise Fedotov Clement, is that correct? Hopefully I got that correct.
Perfect.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you, John.
That's all right. Artistic director at Quad and obviously director of the internationally famous International Photography Festival. So, Dave, you guys have just opened Quad. How's it all going after being closed for a while?
Yeah, wonderful. The sun's shining, and people are slowly venturing out and into our space and having coffee and visiting the exhibitions. We've actually got 11 exhibitions opening today. So we've got exhibitions in Quad and around the city, so at the Museum and Art Gallery in Derby, and the Dance Centre, and in set up some exhibitions in the market hall as well, in amongst the market traders. So we're really excited to help people access art and culture in a variety of ways, whether they want to come into the building, whether they encounter it as they're passing by in the streets. But yeah, and it's a really exciting time to be able to reopen, and we have a very safe space, and hope that people can venture out. It's very welcome to come and see us if you're in the city. Yeah,
and hopefully they do jump on the train and come and see. I mean, you guys are. I mean, certainly as somebody who's been in Leicester for quite a while now and been involved in various events in Leicester, you always kind of look to Derby to do things, do very good stuff. You do really innovative, real kind of collaborative, getting people to be involved, and you've got some really interesting and good spaces. I mean, as someone at obviously responsible for things at the Quad, and obviously as the director of format, you're in quite a unique position, really, aren't you, to be able to bring people together and really start to reimagine how you can use space and include people in that.
Yeah, definitely, and we think very much about that. How it's beyond the definition of art or photography. It's about how we bring people together for creative moments or creative manifestations, even, and how people can participate and help shape what those things are and what they can be in the future as well. So that kind of relates really well in terms of what we're collaborating on for the Historic England project, and we're really excited to be working on that. And Historic England is an incredible organisation, really. It's kind of obviously looking at the historic environments, from beaches to battlefields to parks to pie shops, and they're there to support and champion and save the places that define who we are as human beings in societies, but over time as well, and potentially into the future too. So what we care very much about is sort of facilitating storytelling, but also imaginative, fictional storytelling alongside the kind of reflecting on historical facts and fictions as well, but also to play with communities and bring communities and people and individuals together, or to highlight as individuals their incredible stories, and the role that we all play within history, whether it's transient or more substantial in terms of architecture, is really fantastic and important to conserve and craft and share and bring to life and draw attention to. So that's we apply that within Derby, within our international relationships, but also with the projects that we do in multiple different places. But super excited to kind of collaborate on what we're doing in Leicester as well, specifically too.
Wonderful. Now, we're delighted about that, obviously, as people that live in Leicester, because our high street and some of our other streets as well are in desperate need of some real revitalisation. Our magical Market Street, as we called it many years ago, in one of the Christmas handouts for people when they came to visit, it probably has between 9 and 11 empty shops at the moment. It's one of those streets that's taken a real kind of hammer in. And so to have this initiative here in Leicester for Granby Street, which is just around the corner from the Top Media Centre, and also Churchgate, is one of those ones that's really important, I think. So tell us a little bit about what your involvement's going to be here in Leicester using your expertise.
It's quite a big project. It's just over 3 years long. It's called Picturing the High Street, Picturing England's High Street specifically. And it's a collaboration with multiple arts organisations who all have an interest in photography or a specialism in photography from across the UK. And it's led by PhotoWorks, which is an organisation based in Brighton as well. And we're one of the partners, so through Quad and Format. So Picturing England's High Streets really is it's going to focus on 6 photography in residence programs at six high street locations across England, as well as artist mentoring and a digital nationwide mass participation project, which is coming soon. So probably within next year, we'll be sharing the information about that. And that's something that every single person can take part in, probably using photography, that invite you to contribute your images and reflect on the high street or the high streets or the places where you are, or visit as well. Indeed, now that we can move around slightly more freely, and hopefully that continues. So the photography in residence program is the idea that a photographer spends an extended amount of time in a community to fully engage and understand the community, but also for the community to understand themselves as well. And or there's no one community in many situations, and especially when you talk about high streets, which might be a mix of some residential with commercial, or commercial decline, or commercial resurrection, either way around. To understand, when you say community, that's in the broadest terms, so to actually kind of unravel what that means, but also new communities can come as a result of doing artistic programs like this, and you can have a cohort of people that participate in it and have a legacy of the memory of that project that can last for many generations, or inspire new things to occur. So that's but the intention is to co-produce a series of photographs in partnership with individuals in the communities and organisations and people on the street. So the idea is that the photographer in residence will be selected within this year. They need to be a socially engaged artist, and I'll tell you more about that in a second. But the idea is that the high streets users and communities are at the heart of the project, and we want the photographer to work in a socially engaged way rather than have a thematic or specific visual approach. So the project starts with a simple provocation, which is your high street, investigate before, picture now, and imagine the future. So that idea of witnessing the moment, the now that we're living in, imagining and reimagining and positioning what the future might be, and thinking as imaginatively as people like, and finding ways to articulate and also kind of be part of what the future might be as well, in tangible terms. That's possible too. And that's create a springboard for the socially engaged practice. We want the diversity is at the heart of all that we want everyone to be welcome as part of this project, and multiple voices to be heard, as well as underrepresented voices as well. It's community led, so there will be a number of workshops. There'll be conversations with the artist, and the artist will have an open heart and open arms, an open way of working that will include as many people as practical. And we've got quite a long time scale for this to happen, so we'll select the artist within this year. They'll probably start later in like September, October, and they don't need to produce the work until 2024. So there's a decent amount of time, at least around 2 years, within Leicester itself. So we're looking at Granby Street and Castlegate areas, so they're the High Street Action Zone specifically. And when we're talking about socially engaged practice, we really are looking at how the activities that the photographer and the teams around, so we'll be working with Quad and Format, as well as cultural organisations in Leicester itself. And we want the activities or projects and the individuals to come together to co-author and co-produce the visual representations of the world around us. And that's no small thing to do.
Yeah, it's an undertaking.
It's going to be trial and error, and it's going to be a process that will be open to experiment with and respond to communities and individuals as it goes as well. The artist needs to come and with a open mind and find ways to collaborate, but we're looking for somebody that has experience of doing that in the past. But there will be opportunities for students and for emerging artists to be mentored by that artist, and the organisations that we're working with are the Photographers Gallery, Red Eye, who are based in Manchester, Photographers Gallery in London, Reframed, which is a BIPOC organisation who's looking at diversity within the arts and supporting access and inspiring engagement as well. So, but yeah, collaboration and discussion, and people can still look and witness. You don't always have to participate, but there's different levels that people can engage on. So whether it's social, political, economic, or environmental issues, or whether it's very playful and or all of those above, combined. So we're very open-minded in terms of how the artist is going to be working. But yeah, we're very excited about the opportunity, and I've worked with organisations in Leicester for many years, so I know the city pretty well, and it's a really wonderful, dynamic place, and I'm sure the artists will have a wonderful time there, and and we hope the communities and the individuals will love to participate in this. And there will be some opportunities for small pop-up exhibitions along the way as well. So in the next 2 years, we'll be having some sharing points as well, so the people who participate will have their work seen, and the artists will engage in as many ways as possible on the ground, if this virus allows that kind of thing to happen. But public space is really important in these areas as well. So there's spaces in between the shops, there's the shops that are open or in progress, or the other businesses that are part of this. And Leicester's an extremely creative city, but it's not exclusive for creative people to take part in this. Even everyone, well, I believe that everyone has a creative spark within them, whether you know it or not. So there should be ways for all kinds of everyone to participate in this on a number of different levels. But around the country, we're working with high street action zones in Coventry as well, in Stoke, in Prescott, in Chester. So Leicester is our collaboration, and also in London. So there's 6 locations, and they'll all be coming together in a collective project as well. So the work that's done in Leicester is also part of this wider national programme, which is great for visibility and to celebrate the fact of Leicester's creative spirit as well. And we're looking very forward to seeing what emerges through this collaboration, this partnership. But yeah, it's extremely important, especially even more so at this crazy moment that we're all living through, to collaborate and find a way to share and just have a creative relationship with each other, and find a way to kind of be transported imaginatively, or share your experience of being in the city. And it is about the history of the place, but it's also about every second that we live through is creating new histories. So it's very much conscious of the moments that we're in at the moment now, and also our anxiety of going through into the future, and the well-being of our people, and civic responsibility, and thinking about how we can do things differently. This moment in time, the pandemic and the lockdowns, of course, has given us an incredible, probably very special time to reset our thinking, and a time to step back and reconsider the ways that we don't need to step back into our old routines unless we want to. But we certainly can think of different ways forward if we would like, and we hopefully can be part of that agenda, whether in whatever magnitude it takes, even in small incremental ways. Where
I think that's really important, actually, isn't it? Because having been through the lockdown, technically, I'm not sure whether Leicester's still out of lockdown. It feels a little bit personal sometimes when you're from Leicester. You've always been in lockdown since day one. I think it's a great way of getting communities to build back, and clearly the High Street, Granby Street leading down to Churchgate, they're streets that are open and accessible to everybody, but don't belong to any exclusive community or area of the city. Literally is the city centre, and the fact that you can go from the train station all the way down to the top of where you go to the clock tower near Leicester Market, then obviously Churchgate the other side. Lots of people will know it for the nightclubs and stuff. As you get down to the bus station, they're really good spaces, and there's some really amazing organisations doing things in there already, like the young people we work with, Focus, that are part of the Heritage Action Zone, and we've worked with those guys before on Open Streets. Young people from different areas of the city that suddenly have got this space in order to be creative and do things, and bring people together. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity, but also the time scale is perfect because it's not a very short project, actually long term, so it can capture that kind of change. I teach creative media entrepreneurship students at DMU, and I know some of my photography and filmmaking colleagues, lecturers will be interested in this project as well, and how they can tap into it with their students going forward. But certainly talking to those creative media entrepreneurship students, they're the ones that the city wants to retain as graduates. They're likely to be the people that reimagine high street shops as collaboration spaces, whether it's artisan bakeries and breweries, or whether it's people setting up business centres or new galleries, or new media spaces. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. What do you think? What do you think is the main thing that you'd like to see come out of it?
Well, I hope that it can be, the nub of it is a single artist in residence program, but the point of focusing it as a socially engaged practice rather than having a subject or a theme or some kind of visual lead is the way of doing it, and that intention of the way of doing it hopefully will rub off on other people in terms of thinking about how they can do things, the process of learning and interrogating and testing and trying and having these just over 2 years to apply that thinking and engage people in the process of what that thinking is about and how to do it better is really a kind of fantastic thing. I mean, often these projects are extremely short. They're often like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a couple of months, aren't they? To actually do something over a period of time like this is fantastic. So we hope that it's catalytic in terms of supporting people to think about socially engaged practice and what it can actually mean in practice. There's a lot of theory around it, but actually applying that with people in a place and practicing that is very special, but also with so many collaborative partners as well, testing and interrogating what that practice might be. But also when you're talking about create emerging talents, it's really crucial, as you will know, is having those opportunities to get your teeth stuck into something real beyond your studies and have that boost of confidence or some momentum that actually just kind of takes you a little step further and gives you a drive or a reason to be or kind of something to get engaged with and contribute to. And that can really kickstart people's careers at whatever age or whatever stage they are in their creative lives and whatever subject matter they're focused on. It's just really important to have projects like this that have the door open, that are really intending to invite people in and to valuing their contributions and ideas at whatever moment it might happen. So really interested in students of all subjects to get involved in this as well. So it's really cross-disciplinary. It's really at the end of the day we need to produce 10 photographs, but the way to get there is really broad, and we're really kind of open to experiment, and really excited to talk to colleagues at Historic England about the kind of blended spaces that we can produce as well. I mean, it's blended models we're talking a lot about with online, and it's all real space. It's all real spaces that we're all inhabiting, but the kind of the physical, on the ground, land-based spaces in between buildings, or the empty shops that you can transform or integrate in creativity into existing spaces. It's all we're all open to ideas, but the spaces in between, something very exciting projects that are going on across Europe, aren't there, with interventions, or in Hong Kong when I was working there as well, the kind of the roof spaces or even just alleyways, or what you can think about and how you can transform those spaces to have a function or to do something that whether pops up and goes down, but applying your thinking and giving support and momentum integrated into the city and a reason to be, and then supporting the public to access those spaces on whatever level is very exciting. And I think that's it's a brilliant aspect of this project that I hopefully will welcome many people and many voices to contribute to doing real things and manifest that throughout the next 2 years.
Definitely. I think that's one of the things that the international students really bring to the city as well, because we get a lot of European students, sort of Bulgaria, Sweden, the Czech Republic, the Germans and stuff. And then obviously you've got the further afield, you've got your sort of, South Asia and then Southeast Asia. They all come with a different way of using space. And it's really interesting when they talk to some of our UK students who have this one very fixed, that wall's for that, and then we use that wall for that. And it's really interesting. They suddenly go, well, we did this and that became that, and this was a hanging version of that. And it was good grief. And I think to me, that's one of the things that's great about these things. It's not just about the artist, it's about the way they go about it, and then it gives everybody kind of permission to get involved, but then do their own thing and think about it in their own way, and hopefully it'll inspire some people to go back to their communities and change the way that they view this as well. And I think that's one of the things that's going to be great about it. It's not just one thing for a weekend, it's something that can actually go on for a period of time and get conversations going, feed into like documentary film screenings and conversations and book launches and magazine articles. It's wonderful. I think it's great. So I'm really excited to see it happen, actually. And well done you for being involved in it. I think as if you haven't got enough to do though.
Yeah, true as well. Yeah, it was the Russian saying, isn't it? The initiative will be punished. You cause your own trouble by having too many ideas. But that's the joy of life, really, isn't it? And I mean, legacy is so crucial, so important. It's public money, and we're absolutely grateful for the funding that we do have. And the more we learn about our colleagues around the world, we're so lucky, so fortunate in the UK, really, to have money for arts and culture that we can use, and encourage people to participate in things and it's absolutely important that that these kinds of projects don't just come and disappear, and hopefully inspire or leave at least a blueprint within the city for other things that can build upon it, and instill some skills in people that they can use going forward. And that's the romantic idea of what but also what we know through doing these kinds of projects. These are what can tangibly happen. So thank you. No, we're really excited to get started, and in the next couple of months. So anyone who's interested as a photographer or a socially engaged practice, in fact, the Up and Cool will go live probably within July if all the strands coming together. So we'll be sharing that as broadly as we can to welcome ideas coming forward.
Well, firstly, thank you for giving us an update on that. That's great. Fantastic. It's nice to know as well that the selection process is still to come. So hopefully maybe someone's seen this, certainly a few people I can point in the direction of looking at the open call. So that's wonderful. That's Leicester. Congratulations on reopening the quad today. That's a really big deal. But we can't let you go without giving us a 30-second update on where you're at with format.
Brilliant. Well, format's online at the moment. So we launched this incredible space early March, which has got 20 galleries, and it's a multiplayer space. So multiple people can visit the online space simultaneously. So you can see the lozenges. They're not avatars, they're just kind of shapes, but it has your name underneath if you want to change your name. Otherwise, you get a number. And there's 20 galleries. There's 160 projects from 94 countries. And incredible, over 60,000 people have visited in the last 4 weeks, which is absolutely amazing from over 90 countries. So very pleased about that. But so that's on for until 2023. So visit the formatfestival.com website and you can check that out. But from today onwards, we're opening 11 exhibitions throughout Derby. So physically, we've got printed exhibitions and installations and so on. So we have Brian Griffin, who's one of the UK's leading photographers, and his early years of photography in the 60s onwards in Quad. But we've also got Famous Internet Sites, which is a collaboration with our festival colleagues in southwest China, in Lishui. So that's looking at social media and young people within China. But we've also got Here, There and Everywhere, which is 3 artists from across Africa producing and presenting LGBTQ plus focused work throughout the extra gallery spaces in Quad. And then we've got multiple exhibitions throughout the city. So the full listings, that it will take me a long time if I explain all of them, but I'd love to. But read all about it on our formatfestival.com website. And they're all free, open, and come and have a look when you're up in Derby. And the sun's shining, so it's beautiful time. I'm sure it's going to keep shining.
Go and visit. Go and spend some money in some coffee shops and independent retailers. Help them out. They'll
absolutely
need help on the high street.
We're all desperate right now. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for taking the time.